I want to welcome you all to this panel discussion with Virtual Arkansas and their approach to accessible and engaging lessons utilizing CourseArc and ReadSpeaker. So from the ReadSpeaker side, my name is Kathy Wood. I'm the Education Partner Manager. And alongside me is Ginger Dewey. She's the Education Development Manager, and she's going to be monitoring the chat and QA for the ReadSpeaker team. Katie, if you want to introduce you and Stacy.
Sure. Hi, everyone. This is Katie Egan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of CourseArc. I'm really happy to be here. And then I also have with me Stacy Murphy. She is our product guru, solutions engineer, and she also is director of professional services. And Stacy will also be keeping an eye on the chat and the Q&A.
Yeah, and I do want to encourage everyone, if you want to just, in the chat, feel free to say, where you're from, so we can kind of, and maybe your role at your institution, just so you know who we're talking to. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and let our guest panelists from Virtual Arkansas introduce themselves. Candace, if you want to start.
Sure. I'm Candace McPherson, Director of Design and Development. My team handles all of the course content for our organization, whether it's creating, curating, maintaining, implementing, just from start to finish. That's what my team does. I'll pass it over to Paula McDougall.
Hey there, I'm Paula McDougall. I'm the lead course design and development specialist for Virtual Arkansas. In this role, I manage the design and development of our course projects. I assist with creation, implementation, and revision of online courses. I serve as our QM coordinator, make things pretty on the side, and I've done a lot of work as a reviewer for other courses as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brooke Suyal, and I am Virtual Arkansas's implementation specialist. What I basically do is a lot of course maintenance, and I help keep our courses running, and I do a lot of the tasks that Candace and Paula just described for the design and development team. I kind of just do a little bit of everything. And I also am helping to implement some of our third-party resources.
So some of you are maybe familiar with CourseArc and not ReadSpeaker, or vice versa. So we're just going to give you a quick overview of both technologies, and then we're going to dive into the panel discussion. So let me just give you a quick overview of ReadSpeaker. We are a text-to-speech company, and you can see that we have over 245 voices in over 68 different languages. But what's really cool about when we talk about our text-to-speech voices is we create our own voices in-house. We have our own linguistics team, and our voices are created from voice talent. So they are very human-like and relatable in the market. We have over 15,000 clients globally. We believe in the UDL model of helping everyone, not just a few. You can notice at the top of the screen the listen button. It's as easy as clicking that listen button for our students and learners to be able to use this technology. Besides just the text-to-speech aspect of it, we do provide accessibility tools and are compatible with many proctoring solutions, which is also another key important technology that a lot of institutions use. Katie?
Thanks, Kathy. Again, Katie from CourseArc. So we are a content authoring and management platform. We are very passionate about accessibility. So just similar to what Kathy said, I mean, we really think that the student experience is the most important thing. So we want to make sure that it's accessible and they also have an engaging and interactive experience. We integrate with the learning management system using either LTI or SCORM. And we also provide services. So if you do have any kind of need for your organization, we help organizations to design and to develop high quality content. We have an amazing team with a lot of different background and skills. So feel free to reach out or ask us any questions. We're really grateful for our partnership with ReadSpeaker because, again, we feel like our values are aligned, and we're excited for them to share more about their tool.
And when we talked about that universal design and accessibility, inclusivity, I always like to share this graphic because I think it kind of hones in on that. And as you can see on the screen, it says for fair selection, everyone has to take the same exam. Well, if we look at who's going to take that exam, we know that a lot of them are going to fail that exam because not everyone has the tools and the capabilities of climbing that tree. So when we think about having tools for all of our learners to succeed and learn the way that they learn best, we have to think about that universal design for learning. And I also just wanted to quickly talk about the curb cut effect. I, for one, use the automatic doors at the airport. I'm sure all of you probably have and do. We appreciate that, not having to try to open a door while we're dragging in luggage. I'm an overpacker, I admit it. But when we think about those doors, they weren't necessarily created with just the general public in mind. They were created for those that needed help with that accessibility into that building. So when we think about that curb cut effect, we think about tools that were designed for people with disabilities or needing extra accommodations, but everyone gets to benefit from it. So we're going to just jump right in because this is the most important part of this webinar, is to hear from your peers. So we're going to ask just some quick questions to our Virtual Arkansas team, and this will again grow into more organic discussions. And feel free to put some questions in the chat or even comments how it resonates with you as well. But we're going to start off, and Candace, I'm going to let you and your team kind of pipe in, whoever wants to kind of start answering these. But what made your institution decide that a lesson creation solution was needed, and what led you to decide on CourseArc?
Okay, so like Katie was talking about earlier, CourseArc really represents an important piece of a whole LMS experience or environment. We found ourselves migrating from the Moodle LMS in around 2018, 2019, and the platform we were moving to, even though we really loved it, it didn't have some of the same features that Moodle had in regards to the lesson activity. And I can't say that we were just, in love with what Moodle could do. But I want to let Brooke talk to you guys a little bit about our LMS, and that will help you understand why we needed a different solution and started searching.
Thank you, Candace. So we are currently using LMS, the LMS Canvas. Just like Candace talked about, we needed a better solution, and this is the one that we came up with. And there are several reasons why we chose this LMS. Number one, it is very user-friendly. It's designed for both instructors, well-designed for both instructors and students. Two, it does have a blueprint feature that allows us to make edits in our course blueprints and then push those changes out to our teachers' course shelves, so that these teachers, they don't have to duplicate all the course updates that are needed. But then three, and probably one of the most important features, is that it allows the use of different technological systems on their own. So it has many options that enable it to smoothly and easily integrate with a large variety of third-party resources, including CourseArc. And vice versa, CourseArc is easily able to be integrated into Canvas as well as many other platforms. It's just a matter of copying the LTI link from CourseArc and then embedding it in a Canvas assignment. So because of this feature, students are provided with more opportunities in the online classroom. And overall, this combination of Canvas and CourseArc gives us the ability to do much more for and with our students by using these resources, by using CourseArc's tools and integration capabilities within our LMS.
So I'm going to jump in and kind of carry on the conversation from our LMS and make that bridge to CourseArc. So while Canvas is an incredibly impressive platform, we very quickly realized that the functionality for creating dynamic interactive content was pretty limited. We needed a solution that would allow us to create multi-page lessons containing a wide variety of different types of media and interactive components that were just not possible within our LMS by itself. For example, without CourseArc, our lessons would be just one extremely long page requiring almost endless scrolling for students and really having some pretty limited design options. So using CourseArc actually allows us to split our lessons into pages that contain smaller bites of information for students. CourseArc gives us a tremendous amount of design control over the elements that are included in our pages, from graphics to video to embedded documents to interactive components. CourseArc really allows us to take an old school textbook, per se, to a whole new digital interactive work.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Paula.
Paula.
I think what she was trying to say there at the end was that, Canvas is great, but it was limited. It didn't do what we needed it to do in regards to lessons. We looked at a lot of different options, and CourseArc, hands down, was the best. On top of its versatility, like you just heard about, the CourseArc platform was very accessible. And when they say they're passionate about accessibility, like that shines through in their product. I remember the first time I built an interactive item, it was like a matching item. And in the past, we would have to make an alternate version. So in addition to building this, we're having to go over here and build a completely alternate version. But CourseArc took that data I had already entered for that activity and automatically turned it into an alternate version that any student could have if they needed. Going back to what Kathy was saying earlier, benefiting all students. It gave all students more choice without any additional work on us as far as design goes. I love about CourseArc that it has blocks that prompt people to enter important information, whether that's related to accessibility or copyright. So it was kind of a no-brainer for us that CourseArc was the best that we saw for our needs.
A lot of great information. We'll jump right into the next question is, how widespread do you find your faculty using CourseArc? Are they required to use it? And how easy do you see it being how easy is it to use for your institution?
I can start us out on this one. So we have over 200 teachers, and besides a few select admin and a handful of teachers, almost all of our faculty uses or is at least familiar with CourseArc. I would say 90% of our courses use CourseArc to deliver lessons to students. And in order to adequately guide and assess our students, teachers must be able to use CourseArc as well. So once students submit to certain interactives in CourseArc, the teachers can view their submissions to assess student learning. And I like how CourseArc has made this very easy for teachers. It isn't hard for them to do at all. The teacher can just go to the lesson, find the interactive, and click through the student submissions to view or grade them.
And as Brooke mentioned, most of our content utilizes CourseArc. That our teaching and learning model at Virtual Arkansas, we try to take a lot of the pressure off of teachers to do original content design themselves unless they are trained. So all of our content, we rely on specially trained staff, teaching staff, these are licensed instructors, to build the courses under a separate payment contract. And they'll go through a guided process with us to ensure that the content we have out there is of the highest quality. We definitely involve all teachers as stakeholders in that process. So even though you might have, one teacher doing the work of building it, our teachers always have input. They can reach out to us and request changes. Because of the way CourseArc works, that can happen pretty instantaneously most of the time, depending on the magnitude of the change. And if it's not instantaneous, by the next iteration or year that it's launched, we can have something changed or resolved with them. So we have a curriculum change process that works teachers through that. And then every spring, we have a focused maintenance period where teachers can go in and make edits prior to the next school year. And sometimes they will be making those edits in CourseArc, or if they're not as trained and don't feel like they can do that, even though it's super easy and most teachers can, it's really easy for us to go take care of some of that for them. So yeah, it's heavily used.
As far as ease of use, from a course design perspective, CourseArc is extremely user-friendly. While we do have an official training course that our content designers and developers go through to learn our processes and Virtual Arkansas standards for what our courses should be and how they should function, sometimes we have individuals who need to get to work really quickly. And so they're doing almost a just-in-time training as they're getting started on a course project, or they need to learn very quickly how to edit or change in their course to a change in a standard or a change in something that has come about from some outside source that has input into the course. So in situations like that, it takes very little time to train new users. The block-based system makes content creation really straightforward. The ability to replicate blocks using a clipboard is a huge time saver, especially when someone is new. It's really easy to show them, hey, this is how something should look. Here's how you create this, and then you can copy it to your clipboard. So you only have to create it once and you can just slide it back in and use it again. Having more information available at the click of a button or by checking the CourseArc knowledge base makes the learning process much smoother for new users, as well as those who maybe haven't used it in a while and need a refresher or want to try something new. CourseArc also allows users to customize blocks to their organization. And from personal experience, they provide really timely support when maybe your dream of something that you want is a little bit bigger than your skill level. They're there to back you up in that regard as well. So super, super easy to use.
Katie, that's got to make you feel good to hear all that great stuff.
It does. I'm smiling. I've been smiling
All
a lot.
right. Moving from the CourseArc, how did ReadSpeaker kind of tie in your decision when we're, again, Candace, you mentioned, and I think Brooke did it too, when selecting Canvas, one of your decisions was how well, these third-party solutions kind of all could work together. So how did ReadSpeaker tie into your decision when you thought about, Canvas and CourseArc and that sort of thing?
So we were already using ReadSpeaker prior to this migration and love ReadSpeaker just as much. And we had really looked closely to make sure ReadSpeaker tied in with Canvas before we, went that route. But we had gotten kind of into CourseArc and we were so taken with the accessibility features, we didn't really even think about, does ReadSpeaker work with CourseArc? And so we started to panic a little bit, but they didn't skip a beat when we asked about integrating this tool. And ReadSpeaker has been a life-saving tool for us. We serve students across our entire state of varying abilities, including students at the School for the Blind. And so ReadSpeaker is just an essential piece, and it integrated really seamlessly. The students are familiar with how it functions and looks. It's easy to put it into the pages where we need it. And we really have, it was another no-brainer for us. Like, ReadSpeaker has to be a part of this. So, when we were looking at solutions, that was one of our questions. How well can you tie to these specific programs?
How well, and you kind of touched on this, but how well do you find the two technologies work together? And I do want to say that, as Katie mentioned, accessibility is super important to them. And so, working together just from even two different company perspectives and that partnership and trying to make sure that, things do marry well together, I think is a testament to, how CourseArc believes in accessibility as well. But Paula, Candace, Brooke, do you want to speak to this?
Sure. So I can speak to how the technology works together. Essentially, it works together almost seamlessly. It truly is as simple as making a couple of clicks and dragging an item into place. From our course design and development perspective, when we have developers who are building out a new course, they really don't even have to think about whether ReadSpeaker is there or it works, because we have it set up so it's just automatically a part of any of our new course pages that we're working on. We've also found, again, that the support provided by both CourseArc and ReadSpeaker has been comprehensive and timely. We've had very little to no issues at all with that CourseArc plus ReadSpeaker integration in the 3+ years that we've been using the two products together. This year, we did have a little issue earlier in the year when an update was needed. But the customer support team for both products worked together to help us with a solution that was deployed so fast. There was really no student awareness or disruption. It was just seamless. It's so simple for us, and it works so well and is such a vital part of our courses that like Candace said, it's something that's just a no-brainer to use. And it's almost an afterthought for us at this part because it's so ingrained in what we do and what our students do that the two just are, they're just a happy marriage, I guess.
Nicely put. Candace, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, that really covers it. And I'm glad that Paula brought up that example at the beginning of the year because, you know, you're launching the school year, you start getting some help tickets in about something and you can immediately have that impulse to panic. And I was going to say this till the end, but I'll say it now that both ReadSpeaker and CourseArc, they're the best customer service of any of the vendors we have. And I'm telling you, it amazes me just how quick and reliable they are. And we actually talk about how can we be like them and make our service to our, you know, our schools and students as timely and efficient as they do.
That's great testimony. And just to say, and Katie, you can also mention this as well, but with ReadSpeaker, it's free support for the life of the license. And that, so you're not limited in support tickets. And that also includes professional development. If you decide, you know, once the school year starts or it's winding down, just to have a professional development day, those things are always included because, you know, as you're well aware, if it's not being utilized, you're not getting a benefit out of it. And if you have new staff that's not aware of all the technology, they're not going to utilize it. So again, professional development should always be something in the forefront of people. Even if you've had a technology for several years, it's always good just to kind of, you know, bring it back around and say, just remember this tool's here. This is how it's used, that sort of thing. Katie, do you want to speak to your support?
I mean, similar, support is included. It's really important to us. You know, I mean, if we get a ticket or a problem and it's impacting a student, I mean, we consider that urgent. We don't want to have any kind of disruption to the learning. So we're really big in it, but it's nice to hear because we do try really hard to be very responsive.
Candace, Paula, Brooke, what tools in ReadSpeaker? I mean, obviously you've been using ReadSpeaker for a while. What tools do you find important specifically, you know, from the student perspective, you know, for people that might not be, you know, as familiar with the accessibility tools that are within the ReadSpeaker learning suite?
I would love to talk about some of those tools. So many of the tools in ReadSpeaker are incredibly important for our students who require more accessibility to the content. The text-to-speech tool is probably the most important tool for our students who are visually impaired. And, you know, just like the title suggests, it will read the text aloud to these students, but they can also adjust the volume and the speed as needed. So if they need the speed of the reader to slow down, they can slow it down. If they need it to be louder, they can turn it up, because sometimes our students might be visually and hearing impaired. ReadSpeaker's ability to enlarge the text is also helpful for these students who may not be completely blind, but just need to enlarge the text just a little bit for themselves. It gives them more independence than having to rely on a machine or someone else to read it for them. The translation tool is another one I want to mention. It's another great tool for our second language learners. If you just highlight the text in the lesson, then an option to translate it will appear, and students can choose from 27 different languages to read and or hear that text. Now, is it completely accurate in all of its translations? Maybe not, but it's still very helpful for the comprehension of our second language learners. So overall, there's just many different tools. I don't even think I've mentioned all of them, but there are many tools that ReadSpeaker has that are so useful for all students.
And I'll add, even for struggling readers, like even if a student's not visually impaired, having that read aloud tool and having just the kind of control, it almost makes the text more alive, right? It's not just like this static kind of on-screen situation. Now the text can come alive to the degree that a student might need it.
Yeah, and Brooke mentioned the translate feature, and I do want to clarify that utilizes Google Translate, and we always suggest that just small chunks or words be used to translate, because if we're trying to translate a whole paragraph, it might not translate the best just the way that Google Translate is set up. But yes, those are great features in dictionary and that sort of thing too, for those that might not know exactly what, word, but, and you mentioned, the enlarged text, but also reading speed. If we think about our English as a second language learners, or just people that just would like to hear something either sped up or slowed down, that's also a great tool that a lot of people utilize. So thank you for pointing those out. Last question for you guys, and again, everyone that's watching this, if you have any questions or thoughts, please utilize the chat or Q&A. But for those institutions that may still be researching either lesson creation services or text-to-speech solutions, what advice would you give them in kind of going through that journey?
I think we all have a little something to say on this one. As far as that journey, you really have to define what is most important to your organization and have that clear anytime you're making a product purchasing decision. There are a lot of useful guides out there for things to think about, ranging from, privacy and security, reliability, how device agnostic something is. ReadSpeaker and CourseArc all tick the boxes for the criteria we use when we purchase something. Another criteria we have is how many different disciplines within our organization can benefit from this tool. And while, yes, we sometimes buy things specifically for science or specifically for departments, our bigger purchases, we want to make sure they have a wide impact for our teachers and for our students. And so again, CourseArc and ReadSpeaker both fit that. And I would encourage you, if you're considering ReadSpeaker or CourseArc, don't hesitate. Reach out to them, try it out on your system. You will be glad you did. We can't imagine doing teaching and learning without these tools. I mean, we can, but it's kind of reminiscent of the old days of doing things the hard way. Like, I know some people like to wash clothes by hand and hang them on the line to dry, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing massive amounts of laundry, you need lots of hands that know what they're doing to get the laundry cleaned well. So another way of saying this is these products help us do big things with a small design department. Because if we didn't have these tools, we would have to have a lot more people focused on tasks that, honestly, at the end of the day, they would be coming together for important things. But I just think all the time about how much more time we have and our instructors have now to focus on students, who they're the most important.
Yeah, just to piggyback off Candace a little bit, I'm really not sure that a more user-friendly, comprehensive, well-supported solution for lesson creation or an essential accessibility solution is available. I would highly recommend anyone who's looking for either lesson creation or accessibility or that combination to consider whether CourseArc and ReadSpeaker would fit the needs for your organization. If so, you're not going to be disappointed in the product or in the service that's provided. That's something that just has hit home to me over and over and over again this year for various reasons. Although it has in the past, it really has been at the forefront of my mind this year at various times, just how wonderful the support is. And like Candace mentioned, we've had discussion amongst our team with how can we be more like the support that we have received from you guys, because it has been such a model of timeliness, of professionalism, of just going above and beyond to be helpful to the people who are using your product. And that's how we want to be as well.
Yes, I definitely agree with both Paula and Candace. Definitely search for what your organization needs and find what fits you best, but you should ask CourseArc and ReadSpeaker about their services. Consider them, because for us, we are glad we chose these two. CourseArc and ReadSpeaker are both very user-friendly, plus highly interactive. They keep students engaged in a lesson. It makes teaching easier for your instructors. And not only that, they always provide excellent support when you're needing help. So I would highly recommend CourseArc and ReadSpeaker for your organization's needs.
Awesome. And I do want to mention, and Katie, I'll hand it over to you after I mention this one, but we do at ReadSpeaker offer free demo accounts, free sandbox environment, where you can try out the ReadSpeaker solution in your LMS with your content. And it's as simple as sending me or Ginger an email, and that's our email addresses on the screen. And I'll have Ginger also put that in the chat. Again, we don't require a PO or credit card or anything like that. We truly believe that you should be able to, kick the tires and see how it would work for your institution, your students. And so I highly encourage you to try that out. I also want to mention readspeaker.com/education. From that page, you can actually go and choose the LMS you're using and see even more information, videos, how-tos, and that sort of thing, catered and specific to the LMS you are utilizing. Katie, do you want to mention anything in terms of CourseArc?
Sure. I mean, we have a similar philosophy. So we do offer a free trial account as well. And Stacy can put, a contact email in the chat as well. So feel free to reach out to us. If you go to our website, I think Stacy shared the link. There's contact information. And again, you can learn more about our product.
Awesome. And I really want to appreciate Stacy and Ginger monitoring the chat. I don't think we've had any particular direct questions. I did want to mention that the ReadSpeaker tools do offer data and analytics for some of the trackable tools. Doesn't share any of the personal student data, but it does allow you to see that tools are being used. So that's also important to mention. But we will hang out for just a few more minutes if you have any questions. Otherwise, we appreciate you joining. And again, this is recorded and will be closed caption and available to you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Paula, Candace, Brooke, thank you so much. I'd love hearing you guys talking. Candace, I think, you've done something, before talking about, your experiences, and you're definitely an advocate for accessibility, especially, at Virtual Arkansas. But I just love hearing people talk about it, because my husband is, been in K-12 for 28 years, and to see way back when how, teaching has just changed, and how our students have changed. And so obviously nobody were, I beat the COVID to death, but that surely changed everything. So I do appreciate hearing how you guys are utilizing, all these different technologies, because I think it helps everyone kind of understand other people in the market and how they are navigating these different educational times.
Yeah, we are glad to. And I'll say another important part to us is that the vendors we select align to our values. And so both of your values of accessibility being the focus is important.
We have a question about expand on the data reporting and how to evaluate your purchase of these products. Data reporting, we record things like how many times the listen button is clicked, where it's clicked, your download to MP3, your help, your dictionary, your translate. All of those tools are tracked and they're available in an admin portal. How to evaluate the purchases of these products, I'm going to let Virtual Arkansas handle that. Do you have anything else to add on that, to expand on the purchasing process or how you found out about things, anything along those lines?
I will say that all the tools you just mentioned, kind of yearly, we get a sense of how much it's used. It is heavily used. I also know that just like from when ReadSpeaker is not appearing somewhere for some reason, we get notified by people asking for it. And so a lot of times, it's a simple thing. Maybe one of our designers didn't turn on a button or something, but a rare issue. But when it does happen, people want it, is what I'm trying to say. And it is widely used. I'll speak a little about, I know Katie might have something to say about data and purchase of CourseArc. We love the teacher tools. Like, the teacher sees a similar view to what the students see and can track what the student's doing within a lesson. And so they can see their progress through a dashboard that's really helpful to monitor how students are growing and interacting with the lesson material.
Yeah, and I can add on to that. And Stacy, feel free to jump in when I'm done. Yeah, we offer kind of two different sets of analytics. So as Candace just alluded to, we provide analytics on how the students are progressing within a course that the instructor has access to. And we think that's really important. You know, it's just helps with good instruction and early intervention. But we also provide analytics at the organization level. So what I mean by that is we want, obviously, our clients, we want Virtual Arkansas to know that the product's being used and how it's being used so they can justify their purchase. So we do track not only, you know, student information, but we also track the use of our tools. And we can set up custom reports and we email those to clients weekly. Stacy, you want to add on any?
Yeah, just one more. We do have analytics for question level on the quizzes as well. So instructors can see, you know, what percentage of students are getting questions right and wrong and what choices they're choosing, so they can address that real time in the classroom. We also have that same data available on the back end for instructional designers to take a look at, or anyone who's creating curriculum to take a look at those and see where are students struggling, where might you either need to reword a question, or maybe you want to add some more materials to help a student understand in areas where they're really struggling. So if that quiz has been used, you know, 15 times in different courses, all of that data is pooled together for the design team on the back end.
Great. Well, thank you everyone again. Kate, thank you to you and your CourseArc team, and Virtual Arkansas, thank you so much again. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week and the weekend that is right around the corner. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.